Hello and welcome to the print. All eyes are on Bihar today, which will decide whether Janata Dal United Chief Nitish Kumar, who has served as the longest serving Chief Minister of Bihar, will secure a record fifth term or a change in government will be witnessed. Joining me is Badri Narayan, political consultant, my colleague Saurabh Roy Burman, who is in Patna right now, Shania Dhingra, Prashant Srivastav. We will be decoding
NDA.
the results for you. Badri Narayanji, first, what do you think these trends are indicating? And you had talked about migration as a very important factor of these elections.
Neelam, actually, the trend shows that NDA is going to take a lead in this election. And I think the trend may go in that direction as we understand. And you know the why there are so many factors, but migration is one of the factor on which the entire campaign of the Mahagathbandhan was based, because they thought that the migrants who are around use around is a huge population of Bihar migrate to other places, and they think they are not happy with the migration, so they will vote to them because their family wants to retain them here. But you know, migration is a double-edged meaning for the Bihar. A double meaning is in the Bihar because in the one-way migration shows that this is a kind of household what vibrant life strategy for the poor families, a livelihood strategies. It brings remittances and that provide mobility to the people, and in this way the things it's not only create sorrow or a kind of pain and the suffering, which is a very old concept to understand migration. But now migration is viewed as mobility and also hope, because and you know Ambedkar has already proposed that vulnerable my Dalits, they all should migrate to the cities because that will give them a better life or better choices for the occupation. So migration has a various meanings for Bihar, but these people, this RJD and the MGB alliance, they focused on the half meaning of migration, which is basically based on the separation and the kind of the displacement, distress, stress. The migration is a distress phenomena. It creates a stress, but it couldn't see the another part of the migration, and so that's the thing. So
Right.
migrant matters a lot in this election. They come here, they voted to the BJP, to the parties, and you know in this process three things play a very important role. One is persuasion and the emotional connect and the providing comfort to the migrants, because when they came here, various parties went to them, they convinced them to stay, vote, and then go to the destinations. So
Right.
migrant votes matters that a lot in this election.
Well, just to add to that, a lot was said about Prashant Kishor's Jan Suraaj party. I mean, obviously, it is too early to point out how they will fare. But what do you think of this entire phenomena of this third alternative?
You know, Prashant Kishor raised this issue in a big way, but Prashant Kishor couldn't mobilize people on the issue. And you know, this is the displaced, I am saying this is a displaced strategy for the Bihar election. You can't mobilize people based on the migration. You can mobilize them on the unemployment, but you know, unemployment has also decreased in Bihar. You know, before 14, the unemployment rate was around 33% in Bihar, and then after that it decreased. The decrease around 8%. But now after this corona, this decreasement of the unemployment became a bit slow. That is now around 3%. So we should understand the new changes which are happening in our society, and we should respond, make the strategy, electoral strategy around that. But this part is mostly, I don't know from where they get input, and from which input they formulate their strategy. We don't know. but they don't understand the pulse of the people and social reality, changing social reality. Because society is changing fast, new phenomena are emerging, and politics should understand them and respond to them.
Right. One more important question that, initially, at least during till the first phase, the BJP was not openly declaring Nitish Kumar that he will be the chief minister. They said that it is being fought under his leadership, but they were not really categorically pointing it out. We saw that, BJP leaders told us, as they got information from surveys and all, a lot of senior leaders as well as Union Home Minister Amit Shah, they declared that he is the face. Do you think that also sort of helped the alliance?
Yes, I think no. NDA maybe they have not announced earlier, but
Hmm.
I observed that much before Dharmendra Pradhan, with the election in charge in Bihar for the NDA, and he made it clear that Nitish Kumar is our face of the this election, and then many times BJP explained it, and that gave a kind of strip to the image of Nitish, because earlier there was confusion and that confusion eroded, and because of that you see the result. This Nitish centric election became after the declaration of Nitish Kumar as a face by the BJP. Earlier it
Right.
was not like that.
And what do you think worked for the NDA, which was also facing this huge anti-incumbency? How do you think this turnaround
No,
happened if
no.
these figures are to be
See,
taken? Yeah.
Neelam, actually it was not in incumbency. The
Hmm.
government created a kind of with through two things. They add their developmental governance with the social protectionism, and that turned anti-incumbency to the pro-incumbency. It happened not only in Bihar, in the entire world. You can see the same phenomena. If you link your developmental governance with social protectionism, it will produce a pro-governance, pro-incumbency. So Nitish Kumar and NDA has turned the possibility of anti-incumbency in pro-incumbency by their developmental governance and material social welfareism. There are two strategies that worked well.
Right. And what do you think it means for Tejasvi Yadav going on from here? As I'm pointing out again and again, these are initial trends, but what does it mean for Tejasvi Yadav as a leader?
Tejasvi is fighting well, and he is trying to lead Bihar. But they have to extend their social coalition, rainbow coalition, and in that they have to bring other communities. Firstly, and secondly, the lot of the kind of representation of other community needed in the JDU, this RJD image politics, because in image politics, only one, this is Tejasvi Yadav. With him, they need to cultivate other leaders of the first line. ठीक है?
Yeah, thank you so much for joining in. I know
Thank
you're a
you.
little
Thank
busy and
you.
you have to go. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I would like to go to my colleague Saurav Roy Burman, who is live with us, reporting from Patna. Saurav, could you tell us a bit how is the mood there, first of all? Saurav, are you able to hear me? Saurav, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Right. So I'm outside the RJD headquarters right now, and mood right now at the moment is quite upbeat inside the party office. And right now they're playing a particular TV program. You can see them actually ahead of the NDA. So you can see RJD workers already celebrating inside the party office. Across the road we have the JDO office,
Hmm.
and you also have the BJP office down the lane.
Yes.
Currently, people have just started gathering. People are just
I think there's some network issue. I'll go to my colleague Prashant. Prashant, who's joining in from Lucknow. He was covering the elections for us. He did a number of ground reports, especially one on Prashant Kishor. Prashant, I would like to ask you about VIP. A lot was being said about this strategic move of declaring Mr. Sahani as the deputy chief ministerial candidate. What do you think worked or did not work for the Mahagathbandhan?
लेकिन नीलम एज ऑफ नाउ जो ट्रेंड्स आ रहे हैं उसको देखकर तो लग रहा है कि वीआईपी को जितना उम्मीद था उस हिसाब से रिजल्ट नहीं जा रहा है। और सबसे ज्यादा इशू जो अलायंस में हम लोगों ने भी उस टाइम पे रिपोर्ट भी किया था वो हुआ था सीट्स को जब दिया जा रहा था तो वीआईपी उस टाइम पे 24 सीट्स चाहती थी। और जब सीट्स नहीं हुआ तो उसके बाद ये हुआ कि 15 सीट्स में उनको एडजस्ट कर दिया गया, लेकिन साथ साथ डेप्यूटी सीएम वहां पर मुकेश सहनी को अनाउंस कर दिया गया। लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से उस टाइम पे वो देर हो चुकी थी। जो इंडिया अलायंस का जो एक तरीके से जो बिहार में जिसको महागठबंधन कहा जा रहा है उसका अनाउंसमेंट जब होता है पोस्ट दिवाली चीफ मिनिस्टर फेज और डेप्यूटी चीफ मिनिस्टर का फेज जो है पोस्ट दिवाली स्टार्ट होता है। तो वहां से इलेक्शंस में आई थिंक शायद 2 वीक्स का ही समय था या शायद 2 हफ्ते से भी कम का समय था। और जिस हिसाब से रिजल्ट आ रहे हैं उस हिसाब से लग रहा है कि वो समय वाकई ही कम था। और अभी तो ज्यादातर ट्रेंड्स जो शुरुआत के हैं वो यही दिखा रहे हैं कि एमजीबी यानी कि महागठबंधन जो है वो काफी पीछे है। और वीआईपी का परफॉर्मेंस इसमें से अभी तक सिर्फ ज्यादातर जगह पर अब इवन की ईसी की वेबसाइट या आप दूसरी जगह पर भी देखेंगे तो अभी सिर्फ 2 सीटों पर ही वीआईपी आगे चल रहा है। 15 सीट थी जो वीआईपी ने कंटेस्ट की थी उसमें से एक सीट पर उन्होंने बाद में आरजेडी को समर्थन दिया था जहां पर 2 कैंडिडेट्स लड़ गए थे अलायंस के। लेकिन 14 में से अगर 2 सीट्स या 3 सीट्स तक ही वीआईपी पहुंचता है तो आई थिंक ये ना सिर्फ मुकेश सहनी की बार्गेनिंग स्किल्स के लिए नुकसान है आगे के लिए और साथ ही में इंडिया अलायंस का स्ट्राइक रेट भी बहुत कम होने वाला है क्योंकि तेजस्वी की पार्टी यानी कि आरजेडी का स्ट्राइक रेट बेहतर रहेगा लेकिन डेट इज नॉट इनफ। यू नीड
Right.
एटलीस्ट कांग्रेस एंड वीआईपी आल्सो टू परफॉर्म। तो एज ऑफ नाउ तो जो लग रहा है वो यही लग रहा है कि अलायंस पार्टनर्स जो आरजेडी के हैं वो काफी पीछे चल रहे हैं और जिसका नुकसान जो है वो महागठबंधन को उठाना पड़ सकता है।
Right. I'll
इवन
just go.
बहुत शॉकिंग मतलब थोड़ा सा शॉकिंग है ये बात। लेफ्ट पार्टीज का भी स्ट्राइक रेट अभी तो थोड़ा सा कम ही लग रहा है मॉर्निंग के ट्रेंड्स।
Yes, अभी तो इनिशियल ट्रेंड्स हैं, आगे थोड़ा शायद सिचुएशन चेंज भी हो सकती है. I'd like to go to Saurav once again. Saurav, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sorry, there was some audio issue. I was just asking you, how's the mood out there? You were telling me you are near the RJD office, behind is JDU and BJP, so you are standing at the strategic position.
Pretty much all the party offices in Patna are located on the same road. So I am very close to the RJD office right now, and even until say 10 minutes ago, people were gathering, people celebrating, and they were playing this particular had placed the Mahagathbandhan. So naturally, people were quite enthused about the results, and I mean, some of them they were already hoping that the JB was coming to power. And on the other side, I have the JDU office. You have people there as well, but it have just started coming, So you don't have right now at the moment.
Right. Before I ask you more questions about the mood, I would like to go to Sanya, who also, did special ground reportage. She also was covering the elections. Sanya, are you able to hear me? Sanya, are you able to hear me? I think she's not joined in yet. Saurav, what about the Congress? You have been tracking the party for quite some time. How do you think? What is it that sort of went wrong from exit poll, which when we had a discussion to now? Do you think anything is going to change for the Congress?
I mean, it's still very early, I think. And as Prashant rightly pointed out, Congress was the party which really pulled down the Mahagathbandhan in the 2020 elections. And if the early trends actually hold, so that is going to be the case this time as well. Congress is going to be that laggard, that constituent of the MGB, which will pull down the entire alliance. And in this case, even the left parties are not really performing well. It's not looking up for them either. But as the, I mean, we need to put the caveat that it's still too early. I think I mean,
True. I mean, postal
only the
ballots
postal
are
ballots are
being,
being
yeah.
counted at this moment. Yeah,
Correct,
yeah.
correct. So, it is too early to talk about that this is how the trends will hold. But as we said, this is what initially is being indicated by the results that are coming in, that NDA is leading Mahagathbandhan, which was hoping to come to par. If these results hold, this will remain a distant dream. My colleague Sanya has joined in. She had also covered Bihar elections. Sanya, wanted to ask you specifically about the performance of the left. I know that these are very initial trends, but how do you look at their performance, and what do you think went right or wrong for them?
Neelam, there's just something wrong with my connection. Just um, give me 30 seconds.
Sure,
I'll get
sure,
back.
sure. We'll come back to you, Prashant. You did a very exhaustive piece for us, tracking down Prashant Kishor's, hometown. You interacted with a lot of people who had initially either worked with him or studied with him. How do you see, the entire Jan Suraaj party's role in these elections? Many were calling the party as the alternative. आपको क्या लगता है, जैसे रिजल्ट जो दिख रहे हैं, आप इसे कैसे देख रहे हैं?
नहीं देखिए, मैं हमेशा इस बात को कहता हूँ कि सोशल मीडिया पर बज़ क्रिएट होना और ग्राउंड पर उसका असर होना 2 अलग-अलग चीज़ है। निश्चित तौर पे जनसुराज का सोशल मीडिया पर बज़ भी क्रिएट हुआ और ग्राउंड पर भी उनका अपील था, इसको आप डिनाई नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि हम लोग कई डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स
जी,
में गए और वहाँ पर ये देखने को मिला कि प्रशांत किशोर की बात तो सब कर रहे हैं। लेकिन ज़्यादातर आप देखिए पिछले 3-4 इलेक्शंस उठा के देख लीजिए, चाहे यूपी का रहा हो या दूसरे स्टेट्स का रहा हो, आखिरी में इलेक्शन बाइपोलर हो जाता है। भले ही मल्टीपल पार्टीज़ चुनाव लड़ रही हों, आखिरी में 2 अलायंसेस के बीच की लड़ाई हो जाती है। प्रशांत किशोर किसी अलायंस का हिस्सा नहीं थे, वो एक अलग पार्टी थे जो लड़ रहे थे। तो वोट तो मेरे ख्याल से उनकी पार्टी को मिलेगा और अगर वो पहला ही उनका ये इतना बड़ा असेंबली इलेक्शन उनका पहला होगा जो पूरे स्टेट में उनका पार्टी लड़ रहा है। लेकिन आई थिंक अगर वो 5 या 6% वोट यहाँ से पा लेते हैं, तो उसको
जी,
मैं नंबर ऑफ सीट्स से नहीं देख रहा हूँ, शायद सीट्स उनका इतना नहीं आएगा। 2-4 अगर आ जाए तो आ जाए, पर एज़ ऑफ नाउ तो नहीं लग रहा। लेकिन अगर वो 5-6% वोट यहाँ पे पा लेते हैं तो उनका ठीक-ठाक डेब्यू हो जाएगा। लेकिन हाँ, जो एक बज़ सोशल मीडिया पर क्रिएट किया जाता है, ज़मीन पर कई बार चीज़ें अलग होती हैं क्योंकि आखिरी में इलेक्शंस वोटिंग डे आते-आते वो कहीं न कहीं
जी,
बाइपोलर कॉन्टेस्ट में बदल जाता है। और आखिरी में एनडीए और वर्सेस एमजीबी यानी महागठबंधन हो गया और उसमें प्रशांत किशोर का पार्टी का स्थिति मतलब जो है शायद उतना अच्छा परफ़ॉर्म नहीं कर पाएगा। लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से वोटिंग परसेंटेज जो है जो शायद उनको थोड़ा तसल्ली दे सकता है। जैसे उत्तर
जी,
प्रदेश में होता है कि आखिरी में अलायंस जो इंडिया ब्लॉक और एनडीए का ही इलेक्शन हो जाता है और बीएसपी और जो अदर पार्टीज जो एक तरीके से थर्ड फ्रंट बोल लो आप या दूसरी जो पार्टीज होती हैं वो उतना नहीं पा पाती हैं। तो उसी तरह से
जी,
शायद बिहार में भी स्थिति हो रही है। जो भी दूसरी पार्टीज हैं जो बिना अलायंस के इस कंटेस्ट में आई, वो अब मेरे ख्याल से सीट्स में उनको बहुत रिफ्लेक्ट हम नहीं देख पाएँगे नंबर टैलीज़ में क्योंकि एज़ ऑफ नाउ तो जितने भी मैं ट्रेंड्स देख रहा हूँ, कहीं पर भी प्रशांत किशोर की पार्टी को 2 सीट से ज़्यादा कोई नहीं दे रहा है। लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से प्रशांत किशोर भी इस बात को जानते हैं और वो हमेशा अपने कैंपेन के दौरान कह रहे थे कि या तो हम अर्श पर रहेंगे या फर्श पर
जी,
रहेंगे, या
जी,
तो
बिल्कुल।
150 तक जाएँगे या तो 10 के नीचे आ जाएँगे। तो अभी तो 10 के नीचे का ही स्थिति दिख रहा है। लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से अगर उनका वोट परसेंटेज 5 या 6 परसेंटेज अगर 5 या 6% वोट भी प्रशांत किशोर की पार्टी यहाँ पर पा जाती है, तो उसको
जी,
ठीक-ठाक डेब्यू ही माना जाएगा और क्योंकि आप ऐसी जगह पर इलेक्शन लड़ रहे हैं जो बिहार जहाँ कास्ट पॉलिटिक्स बहुत मैटर करती है और प्रशांत किशोर का आप पूरा कैंपेन देखें तो उन्होंने अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट पर और उन्होंने दूसरे इश्यूज पर
माइग्रेशन
एड्रेस
पर,
किया
जी,
और कहीं न कहीं हाँ, माइग्रेशन पर और साथ ही साथ उन्होंने यूथ पर फोकस किया। तो हो सकता है वो थोड़ा-थोड़ा यूथ वोट यहाँ पर काट भी लें यहाँ पर खास तौर से मैंने जो ग्राउंड पर नोटिस किया कि जनरल कास्ट में उनको लेकर एक अपील भी थी। लेकिन वही हमेशा होता है कि वो अपील इलेक्शन कैंपेन के दौरान तो दिखती है, वो भीड़ में भी दिखती है। लेकिन जिस दिन वोटिंग का दिन आता है, हमेशा यूपी, बिहार और इन स्टेट्स में ज़्यादातर में जनता ये देखती है कौन जीत रहा है, कौन हार रहा है। दे डोंट वांट
किसकी
टू
हवा है?
वोट देयर वोट। हाँ, तो एज़ ऑफ नाउ लग रहा है कि जनता ने वही किया, जो लड़ रहा है और जो जिसको हरा रहा है, उसी तरफ वोट दिया और प्रशांत किशोर की पार्टी को शायद उतना वोट नहीं मिल पाया है जितना एक्सपेक्ट किया जा रहा था या जितना बज़ क्रिएट किया जा रहा है।
Ji. My colleague Sanya is there. Sanya, I was asking you about the left. You did some pieces on their performance as well as why they had been so far doing so well in Bihar. What do you think is happening this time round?
I mean, it's very early to say right now, Neelam. But to be fair, the left was only fighting on a very few seats. The CPI ML, in fact, was fighting on just 20 seats, even though the, last election they had a strike rate of some.
21. This time, I think they were fighting on 21, or was it 20?
CPIML was fighting on 20 seats.
Okay.
Last time around, they had a strike rate of about 60%, and yet they were only fighting on 20 seats. Now, uh, from the trends available right now, it seems that they will be restricted to about 5-6 seats if we go by the trends available right now, and that would be half of what they had managed to do last time. And you know, the opinion about how the left performs in Bihar has been sort of divided into two arguments. One is that it only did well, the left only did well last time because it piggybacked on the RJD, and the second view was that it has a very strong cadre, a very strong ground presence. If these trends are anything to go by, it would seem that the former argument will hold true, that last time around when the RJD performed better, the left, which was a part of the Mahagathbandhan alliance, also ended up doing better. And now when the RJD seems, their votes have seemed to be receding, and the left has also sort of not performed as well. But you know, the left, the problem with the whole Mahagathbandhan, it did seem, was that even the left, by virtue of being in alliance with the RJD, it was kind of trapped in the kind of identity politics narrative that is associated with the RJD, and the Jungle Raj narrative of that that people usually associate with RJD. And now, you know, for in Bihar, we have always, since the 80s, we have associated Bihar with identity politics, and now it has come to a pass where only the RJD is associated with identity politics. Both Nitish and BJP have managed to somehow go past identity politics in the minds of people, and that is especially voting for Nitish in some way is a kind of post identity politics where people are voting for welfare. Increasingly, people are seem to be voting for the maternal welfare that Nitish government is associated with. So it seems that the left has also suffered on account of the RJD's image, but that is only fair because it seems that the left also did better last election on account of the RJD's better performance. So I think that's where we stand with as far as the left is concerned right now.
Right. And what about the, the women voters? A lot were, as you pointed out, that, moving away from identity politics to welfareism. And in that, women seem to have, it seems like, they hold the key. How do you see that? You also interacted with a lot of women. Do you think that they have become now the essential core voters of, Nitish Kumar as well as PM Modi?
See, it's very hard to right now decipher on what basis women may have voted, and it's also not correct to boil down the women's vote to a single causality that they would have voted in favor of Jivika and so on. But to be sure, the women's vote, which was already in favor of Nitish, did get strongly consolidated even further in his favor because of his scheme. I did not see a lot of, say, Yadav women or a lot of Muslim women want to vote for Nitish just because of the Jivika scheme.
Right.
But having said that, what I did see was that there was a palpable skepticism that all women seem to have with regard to the RJD rule. So, as we were discussing even last time when we met on the day of exit polls, that this entire Jungle Raj narrative continues to stick, especially among women, even among younger women who have not, who were either really
Experienced
young or
fresh
not
vote,
born
yeah.
in the 90s, but from the stories that their parents have told, and the tales of caution that their parents have sort of they have grown up with, they are still very skeptical of the RJD. And as I said earlier, this is one thing that Tejasvi seems to be really battling against. He has, despite all his promises of employment and all his appeals to the youth, it does seem that he is not able to transcend the image of his father's tenure as CM through the 90s.
Right. Well, Saurav, if you can hear me, yeah, are you able to hear me, Saurav?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of, Sanya was talking about this entire theme of Jungle Raj, the narrative of Jungle Raj, which, the BJP has constantly, raised when it comes to targeting the Mahagathbandhan. How do you think, or do you think that also had a major role to play? Because this time round, the Mahagathbandhan was also talking about lawlessness during the NDA regime.
Definitely, it played a role, and Tejashvi, right from his early days, has been struggling to transcend that and to go beyond that. Firstly, to dent that narrative of the years of lawlessness and misgovernance during his father's reign as the chief minister, and secondly, he has also been struggling to expand beyond the Muslim Yadav voter base. Although he has made attempts, he's tried to bring smaller, caste-based parties into the fold of the Mahagathbandhan, but all these attempts were made towards the fag end of the election campaign. Probably had he started doing all that a year or maybe at least 2 years before the elections, maybe that would have helped him transcend that huge barrier that he has been battling ever since he entered politics. And of course, that has been a major factor because Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the entire cabinet, the entire union cabinet, when they have been campaigning, they have been raising it prominently. They have been highlighting the fact that do you really want to go back? Do you really want to take Bihar back to the days of Lalu, the days of complete anarchy? Do you
Right.
really? So that has really been a thorn in his side. Yeah.
Right. If you remember during the discussion on the day of the exit polls, you had also spoken about how seat sharing and the issues that sort of arose due to that also had its role to play. As far as now that we are witnessing the results.
Of course, that really played a role. If you look at the results right now, the Congress party has once again, emerged as the weakest link in the Congress party's strike rate is, even if you go by the early trends, it's going to be the lowest among all the constituent partners of the Mahagathbandhan. But the Congress party really bargained for more seats. Although the contested fewer seats compared to last time. But if you remember, right after Rahul Gandhi's this voter Adhikar Yatra in Bihar, you suddenly had this momentum going for the party. The Congress workers felt that the party's glory days will be back somehow, considering the fact that people had really turned up in large numbers for the Yatra, and they actually felt that would actually get reflected in the ballot box as well. Naturally, you had Congress party leadership. Krishna Alavaru, who was the Bihar in charge of the party, he was bargaining for more seats. He was really driving a hard bargain with the Mahagathbandhan, with the RJD, which is the largest party in the alliance. But eventually, if you go by the strike rate, nothing seemed to have changed for the party. In fact,
Yeah.
things are set. Yeah, it looks worse for the party this time compared to 5 years back.
Yes, I'm reminded of the 2020 elections when it was said that RJD could have formed the government, but for the Congress. So if these results hold true, we are again going to witness a similar sort of
Yeah, actually, if you look at the numbers, RJD is still remains the single largest party. But if you look at the Congress performance again, had the Congress performed well, RJD probably could have, it could have been a neck and neck contest.
Right. Sanya, you also traveled across the Simanchal region. When we talk about the RJD and the identity politics, two main, if you talk about sections of voters, the MY combination, Muslims and Yadav. So, how do you think, the Muslim vote sort of how they sort of rallied behind the RJD or Tejasvi Yadav?
Neelam, I'm actually trying to see what Owaisi's party's performance so far has been, but I'm not able to see the tally, but as far as the Muslim vote with regard to RJD is concerned, it was to me it did seem that to all the people, Muslim voters who I had spoken to, and even members of the Muslim intelligentsia, it felt like there is an unsaid consensus to consolidate the Muslim vote, not let it get divided this time, like it happened the last time when Owaisi sprung up a surprise with by winning 5 seats in the Simanchal belt. It seemed like they will vote for the RJD, they will vote for the Mahagathbandhan and not allow their vote to split. But as I said the last time as well, it did seem that it was more of a resigned vote in favor of the RJD and not an enthusiastic vote in favor of Tejasvi either, because even Lalu, for example, enjoyed such immense goodwill among the Muslim community, but everyone is now aware that Lalu is not in active politics anymore, and whether Tejasvi can inspire the same kind of confidence among the Muslim community, one is not sure yet. Having said that, Muslims still seem to be consolidating behind him because it seems to them that there is no other option. But even with regard to Tejasvi announcing or not announcing a minority CM phase, that became a problem. So there is a sense that that all parties, including the RJD, want to keep Muslims at a distance, at least publicly. So so what I felt was there was a resigned support for Tejasvi among Muslims as well.
Right. Saurav, I've already spoken to you about how performance of the Congress, but what does it mean for the Congress party, going ahead as far as Bihar is concerned and overall, the India Alliance, if you talk about that, what do you think, is going to be the ramifications of sort of these results?
Two things, the Congress party's internal crisis is going to deepen. If you look at the Congress party's performance 2024 Lok Sabha elections, state election, out of the 9 elections since then, Congress party has lost 7. And in Jammu and Kashmir and in Jharkhand, where the India bloc, Congress was again a small player in both the states. In a way, it aided the victory of the and the national conference, but Congress was not a constituent in the India bloc in those states. So the internal politics, we are going to see a lot more turmoil in the coming days. And in the India alliance, there will be questions on Congress party's viability as the anchor that holds the coalition together. So there will be a lot more questions on the non-Congress partners of the India bloc on whether the Congress party is really to lead the alliance.
Right.
Neelam, just to ask you as well, before the election, even among the NDA, we saw, as you mentioned, that there was some sort of dilly-dallying by the BJP on announcing Nitish Kumar as the CM face. And now, going by the trends, it seems that the BJP is performing even better than the JDU. So how do you think this the NDA would now pan out if going by these trends?
Right, Sanya, as you rightly pointed out, as I had asked Mr. Badri Narayan also, when we were even there for the phase 1, we realized that the BJP overall was saying that it will contest the election. It was contesting the elections under the leadership of Nitish Kumar. But this question of whether he will continue to be the chief minister if the alliance ends up winning, they were not giving us a very, clear answer. However, we were told, sources told us that later on they realized, looking at the phase 1 and the kind of voting that happened, the surveys that they carried out, they realized that this time round there was a different sentiment for Nitish Kumar, compared to 2020 when there was a lot of anger. It seems like that anger had either subsided, or many were pointing out that this could be or might be his last stint as a chief minister. A lot of women were also upbeat with the Jivika Didi, the welfare measure that the government had announced. And which is why later on, in all the interviews that took place with the media as well as during their rallies, the BJP was making it a point to say that Nitish Kumar would be the chief minister, irrespective of which ally partner will end up getting more seats. They were very clear about that there is no big brother in this equation, and chief minister and Nitish Kumar would be the chief minister. And if we are looking at the results, and as I said, if they hold true, then it seems like that they were right in their strategy. Even during one of our interviews with Deputy Chief Minister Samrat Chaudhary, as well as Keshav Prasad Maurya, who was the co-in charge, I had clearly asked them that you're contesting the elections under the leadership of Nitish Kumar, but what about later on? Because if we look at how BJP has done it in the past with Assam, with Madhya Pradesh, elections might have been contested under the chief ministers, but later on we saw Mr. Yadav was given charge of Madhya Pradesh. Himanta Biswa Sarma became the Assam chief minister. But they pointed out that there was a difference. They were contesting in an alliance in Bihar, in Assam, as well as in Madhya Pradesh. They were individually contesting it. So they completely ruled out the fact that there was space for any other person to be even considered to be named as a chief minister. Even Lok Janshakti Party chief Ram Vilas, he also made it a point to say that Nitish Kumar would be the chief minister. Prashant has joined in. Prashant, I wanted to ask you about Chirag Paswan, who has earlier indicated that he wanted to contest the elections. Then he said that he's Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Hanuman. We saw what his party, sort of how it hurt the JDU in 2020. From then to now, how do you think this party has sort of how the party stance has changed, and how do you think it will emerge as far as these elections are concerned?
नीलम, एज ऑफ नाउ जो ट्रेंड्स आए हैं उसके हिसाब से तो लग रहा है कि चिराग पासवान की पार्टी उतना अच्छा परफॉर्म नहीं कर पा रही है जितना एक्सपेक्ट किया जा रहा था। हालांकि आपको ध्यान हो 2020 इलेक्शंस में चिराग पासवान की पार्टी का जो रोल था वो बेसिकली
जी
उन्होंने जेडीयू के वोट काटे थे, इस वजह से जेडीयू का परफॉर्मेंस भी काफी खराब रहा था। तो एनडीए के लिए, खास तौर से बीजेपी के लिए सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज यही था कि चिराग पासवान अलग ना लड़े, वो किसी तरह एडजस्ट हो जाएं ताकि वोट ना कटे उनके अलायंस का, और वही हुआ। वो 29 सीट्स पर एडजस्ट हो गए, बाद में एक सीट पर शायद उनके कैंडिडेट का नॉमिनेशन कैंसिल हो गया। 28 सीट्स पर वो कंटेस्ट किए और अभी एज ऑफ नाउ तो 6 सीट्स पर ज्यादातर ट्रेंड्स में उनको लीड दिखा रहा है, 6 या 7 सीटों पर, यानी कि उनका परफॉर्मेंस, यानी उनका स्ट्राइक रेट जो है 40% से भी कम है अभी जो ट्रेंड आ रहे हैं उसके हिसाब से तो। लेकिन एनडीए के लिए सबसे राहत की बात तो यही है कि चिराग पासवान अलग नहीं लड़े तो उन्होंने वोट नहीं काटा। बाकी
जी
ग्राउंड पर जब हम तो चिराग पासवान की पार्टी का लोग नाम जरूर ले रहे थे, लेकिन वो जब क्या होता है कि आपका क्लैरिटी नहीं होता आपके स्टैंड में, कभी आप नीतीश के फेवर में बोलते हैं, कभी आप नीतीश के अगेंस्ट बोलते हैं, और खासतौर से चिराग का स्टैंड प्रो बीजेपी तो रहा है लेकिन एंटी नीतीश एक तरीके से, जिस तरीके से एक ऑडियो भी सोशल मीडिया पे वायरल किया गया, हालांकि कितना सच था कितना गलत था ये नहीं, उसका अभी तक कोई कंफर्मेशन नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन उससे देखकर तो लग रहा था कि दोनों पार्टीज में बहुत ज्यादा खींचतान है। और जब भी ऐसा होता है तो उसका नतीजा जो है वो भुगतना ही पड़ता है। और इस बार शायद, पिछली बार नीतीश की पार्टी ने भुगता था और इस बार शायद एज ऑफ नाउ तो यही लग रहा है कि चिराग पासवान की पार्टी उस तरह से परफॉर्म नहीं कर पा रही है जितना उम्मीद की जा रही थी। एक चीज मैं ऐड ऑन करना चाहूंगा, बीच में मैं जो है नहीं कह पाया था, जो सबसे
जी
इम्पोर्टेंट इस इलेक्शन का मुझे लग रहा है कि डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर अलायंस के लिए हुआ है, जो कि अलायंस के फेवर में नहीं गया है, खासतौर से जो इंडिया ब्लॉक है या महागठबंधन है। वो ये कि जो उनका जो टिकट डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन था ना, 143 सीट्स पर आरजेडी यहाँ पर कंटेस्ट कर रही थी, इसमें 70 सीट्स ऐसी थी जिसमें मुस्लिम और यादव को टिकट दिया था, यानी 51 सीट्स पर यादव एंड 19 पर मुस्लिम, यानी ऑलमोस्ट 50% सीट्स पर आरजेडी ने एम वाई फैक्टर ही उतारा था, जो कि उनका कोर वोट माना जाता है। उसके पैरेलली आप देखा जाए तो उत्तर प्रदेश में जब लोकसभा चुनाव हुए तो अखिलेश यादव ने यादव और मुस्लिम को लगभग ना के बराबर टिकट दिया था, सिर्फ 15% या 10% टिकट ही यादव मुस्लिम को दिए थे, अपने परिवार के अलावा तो किसी यादव को उन्होंने टिकट नहीं दिया था। तो अखिलेश ने खास तौर से नॉन यादव को बहुत वो किया था, जो कि यहाँ पे नहीं दिखा। बिहार में तेजस्वी नॉन यादव को उतना नहीं जोड़ पाए, उनके पास टाइम था 5 साल का। जब सबको ये बात पता है कि नीतीश कुमार के साथ ईबीसी इंटैक्ट है, तो तेजस्वी को भी कोशिश करना चाहिए था ईबीसी इंटैक्ट करने का। उन्होंने 2 पार्टीज को बाद में एडजस्ट किया, बट एक पार्टी तो बार्गेन ही करती रह गई आखिरी में, क्योंकि उनको डेप्यूटी सीएम का एक चेहरा बनना था, तो पूरे टाइम डेप्यूटी सीएम ही हर समय चलता रहा कि ही विल बी द नेक्स्ट डेप्यूटी सीएम। और दूसरी जो पार्टी जो कि आईपी गुप्ता की पार्टी है, उसको एकदम लास्ट में जाके वहां पे एडजस्टमेंट हुआ। तो आपके आपके पास जो टाइम था वो शायद मुझे लग रहा है आरजेडी यूटिलाइज नहीं कर पाई। और जो नॉन यादव वोट है ओबीसीज में, सबको पता है कि ओबीसीज में नॉन यादव वोट बहुत सिग्निफिकेंट है उत्तर प्रदेश और बिहार में। खासतौर से बिहार में इसलिए क्योंकि आपके सामने जिससे आपकी लड़ाई है, उसकी तरफ यानी नीतीश कुमार की तरफ एक तरफा वोट ईबीसी का पड़ता आया है। तो ऐसे में आरजेडी के पास एक मौका था, मेरे ख्याल से आरजेडी ने वो मौका, अभी तो लग रहा है कि शायद ट्रेंड्स के हिसाब से तो यही लग रहा है कि वो खो दिया। और दलित्स का भी एक बड़ा चंक जो है वो एनडीए के साथ है। आप पैरेलली, मैं कंपेयर इसलिए कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि मैं उत्तर प्रदेश और बिहार दोनों की पॉलिटिक्स कवर करता हूँ। तो उत्तर प्रदेश में अखिलेश यादव ने बीएसपी का एक बड़ा हिस्सा तोड़ लिया है, और बीएसपी का काडर के कई नेता इस समय समाजवादी पार्टी के अंदर है। यानी दलित वोट का अखिलेश यादव ने इंतजाम कर लिया है। 30 to 35% वोट यूपी में समाजवादी पार्टी को दलित वोट पड़ने लगा है। वहीं बिहार में देखा जाए तो दलित वोट्स का अभी भी मेजर चंक जो है वो एनडीए के साथ ही है। और इस बार तो उन्होंने पासवान की पार्टी को भी मैनेज कर लिया, तो वो वोट भी अलग नहीं हुआ। तो बहुत ही स्ट्रेटेजिकली बीजेपी ने मैनेजमेंट दिखाया। वहीं इंडिया अलायंस यानी कि महागठबंधन जो है वो उसका शोर ज्यादा दिखा सोशल मीडिया पर, बयानों में। लेकिन अगर उस कास्ट कॉम्बिनेशन की बात की जाए, तो आप मुस्लिम यादव के अलावा आप बाकी कास्ट को उस तरीके से नहीं जोड़ पाए। आपने निषाद निषाद के जो नेता हैं, यानी कि जो मल्ला कम्युनिटी है, उसको जोड़ने का कोशिश किया, लेकिन उसके अलावा ईबीसी का आप बड़ा चंक जो वहाँ पे कोयरी है, कुशवाहा है, कुर्मी है, आप और जो ईबीसी की जो और जातियां हैं खासतौर से, उनको आप अपनी तरफ नहीं ले पाए। और दलित्स का वोट मुझे लग रहा है जो सबसे बड़ा जो कमी रह गई वो नॉन यादव ओबीसी और दलित वोट महागठबंधन के पास ना होना। इस
जी
अब तक का जो रिजल्ट का जो ट्रेंड आ रहा है वो वही है, जो कि
जी
यहाँ पर यूपी में काफी हद तक समाजवादी लोकसभा में कामयाब हुई, लेकिन आरजेडी लेकिन शायद उतना नहीं सीख पाए अपने उनके जो बड़े भाई कहा जाता है अखिलेश को। बट ये इलेक्शन पे यही है कि हर इलेक्शन सिखाता है, शायद तेजस्वी इस इलेक्शन से सीखेंगे।
Sanya, I wanted to ask you about Prashant Kishor. You know, if you talk about on ground, what was the response like? What were the kind of issues that he was, and his party was raising?
Neelam, in a way, it did seem that Prashant Kishor was able to manage the narrative of the election very well, because if the sort of dominant theme of this election was around migration and employment, it was one cannot deny the fact that that Prashant Kishor's campaign had really helped push that narrative forward. But it did seem, and also on the ground, it seemed like there was a lot of uh, groundwork that the party had put in. In fact, in terms of visibility, the moment you sort of stepped into not even outside Patna, just Patna, you could tell. For me, the Jan Suraaj's presence was the most dominant. It hit you immediately in terms of all the three wheelers that they were on, the people with the yellow scarves. They were quite visible on the ground. But one did see a sort of contradiction in their visibility, and when one spoke to voters, it did seem that nobody was talking about Prashant Kishor until you went to you
And ask them.
specifically asked them a question about Prashant Kishor, and in which case also their response would be quite vacuous, where they would be like, yes, he's raising good points, employment, migration, these are all important points, but it did not seem that the voter is, as of now in this election, going to get going to want to leave their traditional voting pattern and sort of trust him on the basis of this new narrative that he was trying to build. So in the coming elections, as we had mentioned earlier as well, that given that Lalu and also Nitish are now kind of on their way to retiring from active politics. So Bihar is also going to be on a lookout for younger faces. And of course, Tejasvi is one, Chirag Paswan could potentially be one. But in that space, Prashant Kishor has consolidated a space for him. So I think in the coming elections, he's going to continue to remain a factor.
Right. Saurabh, if you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Yes. First of all, what's the mood like now? I know initially you were telling me that they were quite upbeat. Has there been any change as far as the mood is concerned?
Of course, the initial euphoria has completely dissipated, so you don't have cheering or clapping inside the party office right now. So that initial enthusiasm and people trooping in, so that is completely gone right now. So as you can see
Right.
behind me, it's quite empty. Considering it's an election day, so you don't have many people flocking around.
And we can't even see, any senior leaders who have so far, sort of arrived.
No, no, no. No one is really arrived. I mean, there are a few spokespersons hanging around, speaking to TV channels, but you don't have senior leaders of the party right now.
Right. Sort of, when we were talking about the alliance, do you think there was also a little bit of lack of coordination between, the Congress, the RJD, and the smaller alliance partners? And do you think that could have also been one of the reasons for, the kind of results that we are looking at right now?
Of course, it was evident from day one. Look at the way they, I mean, delayed the decision to announce Tejashri Yadav as the chief ministerial candidate. So there was no reason for the alliance to take so long in declaring what was, I mean, the only choice they had. They didn't really have any options in other CM faces. So they had to announce Tejashri as the CM face, and they could have done it long back. Also, on the question of the voter Adhikar Yatra that Rahul Gandhi really led from the front. The RJD realized early on that there were very few takers for this narrative of vote chori on the ground. It wasn't really resonating among with the people in the state. But Rahul Gandhi continued with this particular theme. He made this the centerpiece of his campaign. So if I mean, right after Rahul Gandhi's yatra ended, if you remember, Tejashvi had taken out a separate yatra. He crisscrossed a few districts and he spoke about issues that he felt mattered to the people of the state. He spoke about, again, migration, he spoke about jobs, unemployment, and he felt those are the issues that the alliance should have raised more aggressively instead of focusing on this one issue that did not have many takers on the ground. Also, on the question of getting smaller caste-based parties to join the alliance. So it's one thing to get leaders of a particular caste to support you. It's another for the people of that particular caste to rally behind that leader. It's another to mobilize the people of that particular caste, which takes more time. So when you get leaders of a particular caste to join at the last minute, that's certainly not possible. So even that was late, as Prashant also spoke about.
Right.
Uh, I think Neelam, we're about to end this episode of our live. But before we leave, I want to ask you that we've spoken about how dominant Nidhi was a factor in this election. But what about Modi? We did not perhaps see Modi being as big a face as he used to be. What is your sense, and what is your sense now, given the fact that the NDA is performing very well? Was Modi a factor at all in this election?
Right. Sanya, I think Modi for the BJP is a factor in all their elections, be it, the assembly elections, be it the municipal elections. So the way he, conducted rallies, public meets, even before elections were announced, he was in Bihar launching one project after another. Even this entire episode about how, his mother was insulted, he talked about even that during, public rallies. So as far as Modi factor is concerned for the BJP, even if you look at the posters and all, it was either Nitish Kumar or Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So for the BJP, as they say that this is the biggest face that they have, and in these elections also, the party made it a point to talk about the succession of Nitish Kumar as well as the welfare schemes of the center. So to say whether Modi was a factor or not, it will be stating the obvious, but he definitely held the elections on his shoulder. shoulders. And the party also made it a point to talk about, the changes that took place not only in the country but in Bihar during his tenure. So that definitely had an impact. Well, thank you so much everyone for joining in. Please do stay tuned in. We will be conducting several live discussions throughout the day. But thank you so much for joining in right now.